Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. Okay, so today we're going to make these little barrel bags. They're very cute, very practical, and they can be made in any size, although today we're going to make little ones. So, for my pattern, I'm going to use, this is masking tape. I was really surprised that most tape rolls were the same size. Like, I knew sellotape were always this size, but like that cloth tape, that is as well. So I'm going to draw around the centre on a piece of paper. That's not too hard, is it? Now, the bigger something is, the easier really with sewing, as long as you're not talking tent size, but you know, do bear that in mind. And I'm going to go maybe not quite as wide as that, but definitely quite wide. I'll take a bit of tape because I might as well. So I'm going to put that in my roll, let it fan out, sort itself out, and then I can put a bit of tape there just to hold it in place, just so I've got a clue. And there we are. So I now know that if I was to make a pattern and did it between these two lines, then that would be enough to circumvent this circle. So I get my circle, and starting from there I can wheel it round and I'll end there. Now I do want to do a hemming allowance, so that's fair, and I do want to have a little bit to fold over, so I'm pretty sure that I can go with that size and then I'll have everything I need. So there we are. I don't want it quite as wide as that. So let's have a look. As long as the previous corners are straight, then you can line it up with a corner. And I don't think you'll need many pins with this, but it really depends on the fabric and it depends on you as well. You know, sometimes this paper just disappears, doesn't it? And I'm going to need two of the circles, so I'm going to fold that over, get my circle. Now I'm going to add a small amount of hemming allowance to this as well, so now ideally you want one of each. Now the best way of getting a right side and a wrong side whenever you're doing any sewing and you need two of something is to fold it, because then you know that they're opposite. Yeah? So, you know, there's a lot to be said for folding, although it does cost you more material, unless you're really clever. So I've got my circle, and I'll get my long piece as well. Now also, I'm going to need a handle. So that's literally just a strap of fabric. I've got one made here, and you can see with this one it's made. So a strap of fabric. Now, this is quite hard. What we need to do is we need to fold it over, but we also need to tuck both bits in. So what we're left with is a sealed edge. Both of these are sealed, yeah? Now, this fabric's quite nice to work with, so I can just put a pin in there. And to get to that stage, I have an iron. I know, it's a bit of a, we never see it, but I do have it. And we can just iron that line along there, and then it makes it slightly easier just to fold in. So yes, it's fiddly. We have pins, we have iron, and we just do it really. We just keep working through. Okay, I'm going to leave that back where it was to cool down, and we can get on to the next stage. Now I have my sewing machine set up, and because I'm using things that are quite fine, I've got it in the furthest needle setting. Now the reason for that is so that I can put as much of the fabric underneath the go pedal. Yeah? Now all I need to do is get that whole strip, and I need 2 of these ready. Okay, so yes, it's well worth it. Now the next part of the make is I have my circles here. Put that there. And I want the long side, and I want to fold over just a tiny amount, half an inch, and I can either pin this all the way around, or I can just sew it. Now I know if you're happy to just sew it, and there comes a point in your time that you will want to just sew something. So I've moved the circle out slightly just to get it started. I have my fold on the outside, and then what I need to do is I need to swing this circle round so that it's nice and smooth, and in a way it's easier without the pins because you can just do it at a very slow, steady pace, and I want it nice and smooth, as round as I can get it. Now because it's a circle, sooner or later you're going to find that you're actually on the bias, so what you don't want to do is pull it because it will stretch. And as smooth as you can. So there we are. That's what we're left with, and it slowly keeps round. And just remember that the folds have to be on the outside, so when we turn it over, this bit's all folded in, this loose edge. And then we need to do both sides. So that's easy enough, isn't it? So what we've got now is we need to be 100% sure that we've got this round the right way as well, because of, yeah, we just do. So slightly over, put the foot down, and then we can start literally pulling that round very gently, easing it round. So what are we left with? We need to attach the zip on, and we need to attach the handles on. So we've got our strips sewn, and after you've sewn them, it is nice to give them another iron just so that they lie flat. Alright, if you have got scraggly ends, then that's pretty bad. So what we're going to do is on the right side of our bag, we are going to place it a third of the way along. Now I find the easiest way to do this is to mark it out and then fold a third. So we're going to about there, the length of the bag, and then we can just fold a third, so that's into 3, and we're going to place it a third of the way along, a good couple of inches, well, a good inch down, and then to fold over our loose ends, and we can mark it with a pin, and then I'm going to another third along, place the other end, making sure that I don't get a twist in it, fold over my loose end, and then mark it with a pin. So that one seems to have come untucked. We can sort that out. So to place it under the sewing machine. Now it's really up to you. I think 2 parallel lines of stitching would be best, but it really is your choice. And so what I've done is I've gone at 90 degrees to the edge of the bag. I've now turned 45 degrees, so I'm doing an inverted N, and And there we go. And again, if you have any loose ends, then you can just tuck them in now. Makes life a little bit easier. So that's grand. We've now got our handles on, and we're going to need 2 of each side. And just remember that if you've got the stitches on the inside, then that's right. And if you've got the stitches on the inside on one side and the outside on the other, then that's wrong. Means you've got a twist in it. Now, let's take that out so we can see. I have already put the zip on a made one. Now this is the flap that we did earlier, and we're just using it to support the zip. Now there are loads of ways you can put a zip in, but I think pinning it and doing it this way is the neatest. So what I need to do is I need to have it so my pins are facing me, so it's nice and easy. I can change to a zipper foot. I still have my needle on the furthest setting, so now that I've got it under my foot, I can take the first pin out. Okay, and then it's just a matter of very slowly trusting your pins. I'm going to open the zip a bit more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is out of my sew line so that I don't catch it. And then a couple more stitches coming up to the next pin. I'm going to take that pin out well early. Now what I'm going to do is a bit clever. I'm going to leave the needle down. I'm going to lift my foot up and I'm going to close my zip. Now it's fiddly, it really is, and if you're very misfortunate you can stab yourself with a pin, but what happens then is you get a nice straight line, and if you try and sew over your zip head you end up with your stitches just like that. I know, and it's quite funny, if you tried to do that stitches then you would never manage it. So I've got my foot up, and I can literally just wiggle this round till it's well out of the way, and I can close that zip. There we are. So it's well out of the way now. I'm going to put my foot down, and then I'm going to sew a bit more. Okay, so what you can do with these zips, as long as you haven't got a metal one, you can actually sew over the zip, and that will mean that you've got a very nice finish. So we're going to try it just so that we can prove that you can. I'm going to take the pin out and I'm going to do the top, just because it's there, really. And although I'm sewing right over the garment, it's a bit too small really to do it otherwise, but you can. Let's just demonstrate that you can do it, but it shouldn't be too untidy with the pins there. So I think you can see the stitches. I know, it's amazing high definition. Alright, I'm going to finish this bag so that we can have a little look at it. But yes, we can sew over these. Oh, no, I don't really want to, because I know I've got to unpick them, because, there we go, I've sewn over the zip end. But, yeah, that's irrelevant. Alright, I'll be back in a minute when I finish sewing the bag. Hello, welcome back. So there we have it. A little barrel bag. So, I know. And the zip. I've put a t-shirt in there just to keep it in shape, just for the film. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed the video. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee, and we do weekly videos. Well, we do daily videos. Thank you ever so much for watching.